Hello everyone and welcome to SUNUP. I'm Lyndall Stout. As wheat and canola harvests are winding down, many producers are coming in right behind with their management and planting in their double crop systems, and they need to be on the lookout for insects in several forms. OSU Extension Cropping System Specialist Dr. Josh Lofton gets us up to speed about that.
Yeah, so we're finally getting to have that good rush through our winter crops. So we're starting to really take out a high amount of our wheat acres. From what I'm hearing across the state, a lot of our canola acres are going out. And so we're getting all of those crops in. We're kind of transitioning to either thinking about our full season summer crops or maybe even planting some of those double crops that go in after wheat and canola. And that's where we're kind of the most concerned with some of those insect numbers being on the rise.
Let's talk about what you're seeing. Just kind of go down the list and if you can, talk about what happens this time of year, what the conditions are that make the bugs come out.
Okay, so probably our biggest concern, so we have three kind of big categories that we're concerned with right now. Chinch bugs, both true and false chinch bugs are around. We have a good amount of grasshoppers, and then the back end is we do have some worm presence pretty much around the state. The chinch bugs are a big concern for those growers that are taking out our winter crops. So whether it be the wheat or the canola, we've seen a good amount of pressure of both true and false chinch bugs in our wheat and our canola fields. So if growers are kind of taking out those summer crops, have that soil moisture, want to go in with a double crop, that's where we're most concerned with. In addition, if we have our grain sorghum crop in close proximity to those wheat fields or to the canola fields, that's where we also have some big concern, because chinch bugs are a big concern in grain sorghum, but even small soybeans, small corn, small sorghum, that they can be a big concern, and they might need to be addressed. Grasshoppers are another thing that are really starting to pop out really high amounts, and it's kind of an unusually high amount. These are the kind of the levels we see in a drought condition, to where we typically have a fungus, a disease that keeps those in check. And usually when we have enough moisture for that disease to kind of thrive, it kind of attacks those nymphs, and so we do keep those numbers kind of in check relatively well. In some places, we're not seeing that exactly, and we're getting big nymph numbers. It looks like we've had a big hatch throughout a good portion of the state just recently. So we're seeing a lot of nymphs. We're seeing a lot of damage in soybean, sorghum, but we're also, Ashley Ferris, who's our new extension entomologist, has been hearing reports down in southwest Oklahoma with a good amount of grasshopper pressure on cotton. And so that's a big concern, because we're really small cotton, cotyledon stage, maybe 1 to 2 true leaves. And so getting a high amount of that vegetative tissue eaten with grasshoppers, especially with such high numbers, that can be an issue. The big thought right now, especially if you see a lot of grasshopper, maybe you see a lot of chinch bug activity, is go ahead and throw pyrethroid in whenever you're putting your prees down. So that will, chinch bugs are really easy to control whenever they're not hiding in plant residue and plant tissue. So if we have a lot of them out on bare ground or a lot of them on some thinner residue, go ahead and throw that pyrethroid. We did a trial last year that saw that that's kind of our most effective and our most economic control, is getting them before we get a crop out there. Once we get a crop out there, especially sorghum, to where we have collars that they like to get into, it's really hard. We're more looking at a focused application of a higher dollar chemical with higher amounts of water. If we can get them now and we can move them out of the system, then we're doing it a lot cheaper and a lot easier with to what our growers are going to have to do out in the field.
So the IPM folks scouting around the state, growers also need to be on the lookout too, and they can report that in, right?
Yeah, if you're really seeing high numbers, if you have a question on what's the best management to go through, go ahead and call your local extension educator, and they can touch base with somebody on campus. If it's at one of those levels to where somebody needs to come out and we can walk through a management plan, that's all within the realm of possibilities. But they can probably come out in a day or so and take a good look, get some good numbers, and we can develop a management plan there. But that's the best thing to do with any of our IPM, any of our pests, is the more times that growers can lay eyes on a field, that's going to be better, because it's going to get it to where we can get it maybe at lower numbers or at a younger stage to where it's a lot easier to control.
Thanks a lot, Josh. And to contact your local county extension office, we have a link for you at sunup.okstate.edu.